The observation deck of the Interstellar Commonwealth Academy hummed with the nervous energy of first-year cadets. Alice stood amongst them, her brown hair tied back in a practical bun, her uniform crisp and new. She was the only human in a class of 23 species, most of whom had spent the past 3 months giving her a wide berth. Terraborns had a bit of a reputation, see? Deathworlders, they whispered. Apex predators from a planet that actively tried to do its inhabitants in. A species so utterly bonkers, they'd domesticated wolves and kept venomous creatures as pets. Alice had heard it all, and honestly, she found it utterly exhausting. Today's exercise was supposed to be simple, really. Observe the Grammalian cubs in their enrichment habitat. The Grammalians were one of the galaxy's most feared warrior species, 8 feet tall when fully grown with midnight black fur, retractable claws, and a bite force that could crush adamantium. Their cubs, though, were considered educational opportunities for xenobiology students. Mr. Davies, the human instructor and the only other member of their species on the station, led them through the reinforced observation corridor. He was tall, broad-shouldered, with the easy confidence of someone who'd spent years in space and didn't give a toss what anyone thought about his dangerous home world. "Right, listen up," Mr. Davies said, his voice carrying over the group. "Grammalian cubs are still learning social boundaries, mind. They're playful but powerful. Do not engage directly. I repeat, do not." A high-pitched chirp interrupted him. Through the transparent aluminium barrier, a Grammalian cub, no more than 3 months old but already the size of a big dog, had clocked the group. Its ears perked forward, its tail swishing with interest, the cub's golden eyes fixed on Alice. "Oh, blimey," whispered Kaylin, a crystalline Qualian cadet beside her. "It spotted the Terraborn." The cub pressed against the barrier, its nose twitching. Then it did something that made every non-human cadet take a horrified step backward. It growled. Not a playful yip or a curious chirp, but a deep, rumbling growl that vibrated through the deck plating. The sound was instinctive, ancient, a predator recognizing another predator and issuing a challenge, or perhaps even an invitation. The cadets scattered, some diving behind support pillars, others backing towards the exit. Training protocols about Grammalian aggression flashed through their minds. Stories of colony worlds where Grammalian packs had hunted prey across continents. Alice didn't budge. She tilted her head, studying the cub with curious eyes. Its body language wasn't aggressive. The ears were forward, not flat. The tail swished high, not tucked. This wasn't a threat display. This was play. Mr. Davies remained still, watching his fellow human with an expression that might have been concern or might have been amusement. He'd learned a long time ago not to underestimate human instincts, bless him. Alice dropped to a crouch, putting herself at eye level with the cub. Then she did something that made Kaylin emit a sound of pure crystalline terror. She growled back. It wasn't a timid sound or a human approximation of a growl, not a bit of it. Alice had grown up with 3 German shepherds and had spent summers at her uncle's farm working with livestock guardian dogs. She knew how to speak predator, she did. Her growl rolled from her chest, deep and resonant, matching the cub's frequency almost perfectly. She added a slight playful edge to it, the way a dog might during a game of tug-of-war. The cub's eyes widened, its ears swiveled forward to their maximum extent. Then it did something no one expected. It bounced. The Grammalian cub jumped backward, front legs stretched forward, hindquarters raised, a perfect playbow. It chirped, growled again, softer this time, almost questioning. Alice laughed. The sound was bright and genuine, echoing through the corridor. She slapped her hand against the barrier in a playful gesture, and the cub pounced towards it, batting at the transparent surface with sheathed claws. "Good doggy," Alice cooed, her voice shifting from predator to prey species, nurturing in a heartbeat, another uniquely human trait that thoroughly confused galactic xenopsychologists. It did. "Who's a brave little fighter? You are. Yes, you are." The cub responded with happy chirps, rolling onto its back against the barrier, exposing its belly, a sign of trust that made Mr. Davies grin. "Good heavens," breathed Gorak, a Havorian cadet whose species had evolved from prey animals. "The Terraborn just played with it. She challenged a Grammalian predator, and it submitted," Kaylin added, their crystalline structure literally vibrating with confusion. "How, for goodness sake?" Mr. Davies finally stepped forward, chuckling. "Because humans are daft," he said fondly. We see a baby predator, and instead of legging it like any sane species, we want to give it a pat. But the growl, another cadet began. Oh, that. Alice stood up, dusting off her uniform. My family's always had dogs, big ones, mind. You learn to speak their language. She shrugged as if she hadn't just casually demonstrated why humans were considered the galaxy's most unsettling species. He's just a puppy, isn't he? That puppy will grow to be an apex predator, Lyra uttered faintly. So will my nephew's Rottweiler, Alice replied. Doesn't mean they're not adorable when they're young. The Grammelian cub pressed against the barrier one more time, chirping plaintively. Alice waved at it, and it swatted the barrier with evident delight. Mr. Davies addressed the class, though his eyes sparkled with barely suppressed laughter. This, cadets, is why Terraborns have a reputation. We don't see predators the way you do. We see potential friends. He paused. Also potential threats, which is why we're pretty good at fighting them. But mostly friends, you see. That is utterly barking mad, Gorok stated flatly. Yes, Mr. Davies and Alice said in unison, grinning at each other as the class filed out, still muttering about human recklessness. Kaelin paused beside Alice. You are aware that your species absolutely terrifies most of the galaxy, correct? Alice glanced back at the cub, which was now tumbling with its siblings, apparently telling them all about the strange human who had spoken their language. Yeah, she said softly. But someone has to show you that not everything scary is actually dangerous. She smiled. Besides, wait until you see what happens when humans meet baby Glimmerwings. Those things are actually venomous, but they're ever so cute. Kaelin made a sound like dry ice fizzing, the Qualian equivalent of a resigned sigh. It was going to be a very long 3 years at the academy, but watching Alice wave one more time at the Grammelian cubs, seeing them respond with joyful chirps, Lyra had to admit one thing. The galaxy was certainly more interesting with Terraborns in it. Terrifying, but interesting for sure.